Welcome to Carolina News Now. I'm Chandler Morgan. If you are watching right now, you are a part of something big. This is the first ever Carolina News Now newscast. So what is this thing that you're watching? This is a regional newscast. This is the power of 6 gray televisions coming together, making sure that you're informed with the stories that matter to you and your communities. So that means that we're going to be taking you places like Charleston, South Carolina, Eastern North Carolina, different cities and different towns for the stories that matter to you. So you might be watching on your phone right now. That's the beauty of Carolina News Now, because you can actually stream us. You might be watching at home on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. We're glad you're here with us. This is big. This is the first ever Carolina News Now newscast. So what are you going to see? You're going to see the stories that matter to you. We'll take you to different parts of North and South Carolina. But first, it's the weekend. We've got to get an update on the weather. There's a lot of places that you can go in North or South Carolina. Maybe you're headed to the beach this weekend, so we want to fill you in with what's happening there. Let's take you now to meteorologist Jason Myers.
Hi, meteorologist Jason Myers from WBTV in Charlotte. Here's your Carolina News Now weather forecast. You can see as we continue throughout our afternoon and evening hours, mainly quiet. Can't rule out the chance for at least a stray shower across the area. As we continue overnight, again, more toward the mountains may see a stray shower. I think most of the Piedmont and the coastal regions here of the Carolinas remain dry. Just a few passing clouds as we go into our Saturday afternoon. Overall, again, dry. Heading up to the mountains to see some of the leaves changing colors. Yes, you could see a pop-up shower, but most of us, again, just expecting more clouds than rain showers across our mountain communities. As we continue into Sunday, it's kind of the same story. Toward Myrtle Beach, Charleston, we could see a quick shower developing here as we go into our Sunday afternoon. That's about the best chance for at least seeing a few showers developing. More rain to our west. That will begin to move in more as we go into next week. So here's a look at our forecast as we continue through today and into our weekend. Around Asheville, temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 70s, lower 70s on average, more toward Boone and across the high country. As we look at the Piedmont around the Charlotte metro area, 80 degrees to mid 80s as we continue throughout your afternoon hours. For our coastal areas, yes, again, you'll be about the same. Temperatures look to remain anywhere from the low to mid 80s from Wilmington to Charleston as we go throughout your weekend. As we look at your rainfall chances, notice they quickly increase here as we go into next week. You'll need the rain gear, the umbrella, and the rain jacket beginning Monday. We've issued what we call first alert just to highlight the fact that we do have the chance for more rain Monday through especially Thursday. Periods of rain, possibly some storms. Still some questions as far as how much rain will pick up and the exact timing of that rain. But here's the outlook. 5 o'clock here on Monday. So Monday afternoon, we're looking at rain showers here across the Carolinas, which will continue to be off and on as we go throughout our daytime hours on Tuesday. Cold front moving into the area on Tuesday. That will provide a good chance of rain anywhere from the coastal areas to the Piedmont and to the mountains here as we go into our Tuesday afternoon. Same story for Wednesday. You'll need the rain gear with more off and on rain showers and the potential for seeing a few storms. Quick update on the tropics. We have Hurricane Sam right now and Tropical Storm Victor. The good news is both of these systems will stay off in the central Atlantic. Hurricane Sam right now, Category 4 hurricane, winds of 150 miles per hour. That will move further away from the U.S. as we continue even into next week. Looking at your 7-day forecast, a lot more 80s on the way as we continue into next week. Again, that's when you'll need to have the rain gear. Rain chances increasing beginning Monday and continuing through the mid to later part of next week.
Jason, thanks for tracking that for us this weekend. All right, we got to kick off our coverage here and we need to talk about schools. You might have felt this in your child's school. Teacher shortages. It seems like they're everywhere, especially in North Carolina. Well, we did some digging and we've been looking into the ongoing issue. So where we're going to start first is going to East North Carolina and specifically going to visit some school districts there with our Cindy Choi. She said that this is especially an issue, teacher shortages in particular, that the pandemic has really caused a bigger issue with.
Martin County Schools was hiring in August before the new school year started, and a month later in September there's still some vacancies, but they say they feel good about where they're at for the situation. It's another pandemic school year, and the pool of teachers had been limited even before the pandemic started, according to Superintendent David Fonseca. But since then they've hired more people, and they're continuing to push for more with a goal in mind for the second semester. Before the new school year started, the U.S. Department of Education reported a teacher shortage in every grade of math and special education in North Carolina. Although Martin County Schools wants to fill that void, they've hired more people to keep them afloat.
We're definitely making progress. We still have areas where we have some vacancies, but we are working on those, and it's because of our staff stepping up that we're making it work right now.
Staff that has taken over new responsibilities to manage the openings, and not just in teaching.
Our superintendent served cafeteria meals. Our student services director was serving cafeteria meals. Our CTE director and maintenance director drove buses. The shortages have not been limited to teachers. We have been struggling with bus drivers. COVID's put a hit on everything. We're a part of a widespread problem right now, so this is something every district is suffering with.
Martin County Schools may be in need of more substitutes and middle and high school math and science teachers, but compared to a month ago, they say they're making it work.
Everybody's stepping up to the plate. Every morning there's a central office text if there's a need. It's a true team effort, but our teachers are the heart of it. We want to start second semester ready, fully staffed as possible with a game plan, and give these students 500% come second semester.
Martin County Schools hired recent graduates such as Julia Ward. She's from Williamston, went to Meredith College and graduated in May, and so this is her first year of teaching. Martin County Schools say it's great to see young people come back to their hometown to teach, and say it's exciting because it gives them a breath of fresh air for the future. Reporting for Carolina News Now in Eastern North Carolina, I'm Cindy Choi, WITN News.
We go now to South Carolina, specifically over to Myrtle Beach, where we're learning more details about a death investigation. And this brings in actually the state of Florida too. A 21-year-old woman from Florida was found dead in South Carolina, and a lot of questions still around this case. Our Madison Martin is digging deeper into the details of the case, and she's also talking to family friends.
The life of a young woman now becoming cherished memories. Sheridan Wells' body was found just days after she was reported missing in Myrtle Beach. Authorities also say her car was found burned in a cornfield miles away from where her body was found. As the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division continues to work this death investigation, those who Sheridan was close to are remembering their beloved friend. Sheridan Wells' loved ones reflect on the light she shared with those around her.
She felt very much so that she wanted to be loved and accepted by people, and so she wanted people to feel that from her when they met her.
Elizabeth Echenique lovingly calls her Cher. They were roommates, but for Elizabeth, it felt like being a part of the same family. They first met in choir in high school. It was there where she learned of Sheridan's voice and her nature that simply drew people in.
She liked to share music with people, so even if she had nothing to talk about, she'd ask you, what song do you like, and she'd play it for you. Music was her passion. She loved to write, to sing, play, anything.
And as they became close, Elizabeth says that's where she saw her friend's giving heart.
Generous, loving person, and, you know, I think some people don't deserve that much. I was like, Sherry, you're too kind. You know, I love you and I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I sometimes feel like I can't make up for what you do for everybody. It's just heartbreaking to see somebody that was so giving gone from our lives so soon.
It's that generosity she felt from both Sheridan and her family that fueled Elizabeth's desire to start a GoFundMe to help with funeral expenses. There is still many questions that remain surrounding what happened to Sheridan.
I've almost been waiting for, you know, a text message back from her, or, you know, her to respond to something that I post. You know, I can't really believe that she's not with us anymore.
Those who crossed paths with her remember the impact Sheridan made in her short 21 years.
Just finally coming at peace with what has happened is my long-term goal, and just doing what I can for everyone else to feel the same love and acceptance.
Now, 1 week ago, an autopsy was performed, but we still don't know what happened to Sheridan. The Florence County coroner tells us the results were inconclusive, and now they have to do additional post-mortem studies. Reporting for Carolina News Now, I'm Madison Martin, WMBF, Myrtle Beach.
All right, I want you to imagine this. We're going to stay in South Carolina for a moment here. We're going to go to Charleston for a second. Imagine this. Someone's accused of committing a serious crime against you. They get out on bond and you sit waiting for them to be on trial, only that trial is not going to happen anytime soon. And we have Gray TV's Katie Cammon reporting on why that is.
Many of South Carolina's state senators and representatives are being given what the state's Supreme Court Chief Justice calls absolute protection.
All of it has just been extremely overwhelming, and it very much feels like not fair.
Mindy Corbett is a Colleton County mom. More than 3 years ago, she says she saw some text messages between her daughter and a relative and quickly realized something wasn't right.
Looking at some of the messages, I threw up, like I was sick to my stomach.
Corbett says she learned that relative, Michael Ramsey, was sexually abusing her daughter, so they went to Walterboro Police. Ramsey was charged with multiple crimes, including first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor.
We trust in our justice system. We trust in the legal system. So we do what's right. We call the cops. We file a report. And the cops did their job.
Ramsey bonded out of jail, but more than 2 years later, the case has yet to go to trial and might not anytime soon. That's because, according to court records, Ramsey hired State Senator Margie Bright Matthews as his defense attorney.
She has Senate protection. There's nothing we can do.
Here's what Corbett means by that. The solicitor's office says a trial can't be set because of this August order from South Carolina Chief Justice Donald Beatty. According to the order, state lawmakers who are involved in meetings about the American Rescue Plan or redistricting are being granted, quote, absolute protection from any deposition, trial, or hearing in their other jobs as lawyers.
The use of Senate protection, it doesn't just go to the senator, it goes to who they're representing.
We've tried numerous times to reach Senator Bright Matthews. We emailed, we went to her law office in Walterboro, and we even went to her Senate office in Columbia. She hasn't gotten back to us. Why would a defendant hire a lawyer legislator?
Because they're smart.
Sarah Ford is the legal director of the South Carolina Victim Assistance Network. She says that although the Chief Justice's August order might be new, absolute protection for lawyer legislators is not. This order from 2017 allowed lawyer legislators to avoid court from January to July.
For crime victims, those days in court tend to get pushed very far out when a lawyer legislator is representing a defendant. Certainly lawyer legislators have a right to make a living, but at the expense of grinding the wheels of justice to a halt. I don't know that that's fair for crime victims.
Lawyers make up only a small percentage of South Carolina's population, but dozens of state legislators from both parties are also attorneys. For instance, Senator Dick Harpootlian from the Midlands is representing Alec Murdoch, the Hampton County lawyer accused of insurance fraud and filing a false police report. And Senator Sandy Senn has done legal work for Charleston County and the city of North Charleston. Absolute protection has not become a known issue in any of their cases, but anytime a legislator is also an attorney, there's always a chance.
Lawyers bring a level of expertise and knowledge and analytical ability that I think is absolutely critical to have in the legislative process.
But how often are cases involving lawyer legislators delayed due to absolute protection? It appears the state doesn't keep track. The Chief Justice's orders don't mention any way for tracking how often lawyer legislators use these protections.
I think it's something that happens in every circuit, in every county in South Carolina.
University of South Carolina law professor Rob Wilcox says lawyer legislators typically make far more money through their roles in the courtroom than in the state house.
They have an interest in moving their clients' matters along as expeditiously as they can. A reality is that the job of being a legislator is a much more full-time job than it used to be.
We requested interviews with numerous lawyer legislators to ask how they handle both jobs.
There's a a challenge to balance, but that's exactly what you have to do.
Senator Ronnie Sabb from Williamsburg County was one of the only lawyer legislators who agreed to sit down with us.
And it's unfortunate that a lot of the criminal trials have to be delayed because of the scheduling of lawyer legislators. And so I feel the frustration of those families and their desire to try the cases.
But Sabb says the Chief Justice's orders are very important. And he tells us he has 3 attorneys at his law firm who can cover for him in court while he's busy with government matters in Columbia. Meanwhile, Ford says that delaying trials indefinitely can have serious consequences.
The longer a case gets pushed out, the more likely witnesses may disappear, law enforcement may move, someone may pass away, and the likelihood that the state's case may get weaker as time goes on.
Back in Colleton County, Corbett says she and her daughter hope they'll finally have their day in court.
What I want is for her to have to recuse herself from this case so that he can get an attorney that can actually go to trial, and we can go to trial and have this done. And I mean, it's never going to be done for my daughter. It's never going to be finished and behind, but maybe she can at least feel like someone cares, because at this point, it's like her life doesn't matter.
Have you been involved in a case where a lawyer legislator was present? Is there something you would like for us to know? If so, call our tip line at 843-402-5678.
That was Katie Cammon reporting from Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to stay in South Carolina again, but this time we need to talk about something you've probably experienced if you've driven on South Carolina roads. We are talking about the appearance and the feel of them. So let's talk about South Carolina's infrastructure plan now. The U.S. Senate has passed a bipartisan bill that aims to improve our state's roads and their bridges too. But the bill's fate is still in limbo. Our Adam Mintzer reports.
This $1.2 trillion infrastructure deal can have a lot of impacts on South Carolina, improving roads, bridges, even our water systems. But that doesn't mean all of our state lawmakers support it.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott says he supports improving South Carolina's infrastructure, but not like this. After voting no on the bill, he wrote a statement saying, quote, "I cannot support more reckless spending on unrelated pet projects that will suffocate our future generations with mountains of debt." Our state's senior Senator Lindsey Graham was a yes. He said the bipartisan infrastructure bill is good for South Carolina. It provides much needed help for our roads, bridges, ports, and expands broadband internet access. I have always been supportive of infrastructure investment and wish we had passed this years ago. All of Graham's other Republican colleagues who he spoke to, like Representatives Mace, Wilson, Duncan, and Norman, all say they are no's. The reason? They say some of the expenses in this bill are wasteful. Here's what's in it for South Carolina. Out of the more than $1 trillion in this bill, $4.9 billion would go to projects to improve South Carolina roads and bridges. $366 million will go to public transportation in the state, $100 million for broadband access, and more.
In my home state of South Carolina, nearly 1 in 10 households lack access to an internet connection, and even more cannot afford service. As a result, they cannot work remotely, cannot learn remotely, and cannot access telehealth.
The White House says if this bill became law, it would be one of the most significant long-term investments in our nation's infrastructure in nearly a century. Reporting for Carolina News Now, Adam Mintzer, WIS News 10.
Right now, one of our reporters is spotting a lucky strike in North Carolina. So that's where we're going to go next. We're going to go closer to Wilmington, where one of our reporters has actually spotted a trend at a local store there. So our Ashley Kozakowski is looking into it.
A wall of winners inside Calabash Food and Fuel. Everywhere you look, you see a celebration of the cash won here. From $1,000 to $50,000.
I was fortunate to win a $10 million prize on a $30 scratch-off. It's done wonders for me and my wife and my family.
You heard that right. Monty, who bought his $10 million winner in High Point, still plays religiously. He retired to South Carolina and drives here to get his tickets at Calabash Food and Fuel. Data from the NC Lottery shows in the entire state, Calabash Food and Fuel sold the most scratch-off tickets that won $600 or more in the past 5 years. 306 in all. So is this place especially lucky? Calabash Food and Fuel topped the state in scratch-off sales over the past 5 years. But why? Van Denton from the lottery has a few ideas.
You also have something unique there, I think, with Calabash, and we see it in Currituck County with a store there, in Haywood County with a store there, where they're very close to the border, and you find people from South Carolina who find our games fun and exciting. And so they come over and play games in North Carolina.
North Carolina has more scratch-off choices than our neighbor to the south. And the prizes are bigger, too.
Eventually, the wins will follow the play. If Brunswick County is high in sales over time, they will be high in wins, too.
And who knows? Lightning may strike twice.
While others hope it simply strikes once. I'm Ashley Kozakowski, WBTV News.
Okay, who else wants to make a trip there now? I'm feeling lucky just watching that story back. All right, but we are rocking and rolling into the weekend, especially in Charlotte, because who came here last night? The Rolling Stones. It was the first big concert in the city of Charlotte. It was outside, held at Bank of America Stadium. Our Ron Lee was there to capture all of the excitement.
The Rolling Stones made their way into the stadium Thursday night under full police escort, giving the faithful a taste of what's to come.
Very much so. I was very excited. I've been a fan since I was 10 years old, and I'm old now.
Although this wasn't the first look fans got. Jagger posted on his Twitter account he was having drinks at a local bar last night where, according to online accounts, nobody realized it was him.
It's the root of so much music.
Donna Limpke is at her 20th Stones concert, even decked out in a custom pair of shoes she designed.
These in particular were made in honor of Charlie Watts.
People stood in line for hours before the gates dropped, many making the pilgrimage to Charlotte from hundreds of miles away.
A long ride, 12 hours.
And from decades long past.
The first time I saw him was 1978.
David Stroud has seen the band almost 80 times.
They're probably never coming again, and you don't want to be. I coulda, shoulda, woulda saw him, and you didn't.
Kim Musica has only seen them once.
I don't get out much.
To many, seeing the band live is almost a spiritual experience.
To me, it's intangible. I don't see how anyone can listen to them and not be a fan.
Rita West tells me she was supposed to see the Stones last year before the pandemic hit.
It was my Valentine's gift in 2020, and because of COVID, we didn't get to go. So here we are.
Some here tell me they appreciate the band's civic work.
They are involved in a lot of things for people, for the community.
The music of the Rolling Stones is timeless, seamless. It takes us back to our youth when things didn't seem so complicated.
Certain points in your life, you just can remember that point in time and that song and what it meant to you at that time in your life.
All right, that has me excited for the weekend. So maybe you're into live music and maybe you're thinking about catching a local concert or something like that. So we want to make sure that the weather is going to cooperate with your plans. There's a lot of places you can go across North and South Carolina. Maybe you want to hit the beach. Got to get in that beach time before we get too close into fall. So let's get a check of your weather now. Back with meteorologist Jason Myers.
Hi, meteorologist Jason Myers, and here's a look at your Carolina News Now weather forecast. Across the area overall this weekend, it will be quiet. May see some passing clouds, could see a stray shower, but thankfully not a washout this weekend, so outdoor activities are looking nice. Of course, our mountain community is milder with temperatures in the 70s, lower 70s around Boone, temperatures more toward Asheville, mid to upper 70s, so may need the light jacket in the morning, cool in the morning, mild into the afternoon. Charlotte and across the Piedmont of the Carolinas, from Columbia to Charlotte, we'll see temperatures more into the 80 to 85 degree range, so it will be warm, mild in the morning, but warm throughout your afternoon hours. And for the coastal areas, from Charleston up toward Wilmington, we'll see temperatures mainly in the low to mid 80s as well as we continue throughout your weekend. So what about rain? Well, there is the chance for seeing a stray shower here as we continue through the weekend. Rain chances really increase, though, beginning Monday and continue really through the mid to even later part of next week. So there's that daily chance for rain, possibly a few storms. Good idea to have the umbrella and the rain jacket with you. Futurecast here. We start things off at Friday evening, and as we continue into the overnight hours, into Saturday morning, quiet, some passing clouds around to wake up to on Saturday as we head into your afternoon hours. Notice more toward the mountains, could see a stray shower. Piedmont, coastal areas, the beaches, we're mainly dry here as we go into our Saturday afternoon. As we continue into Sunday, kind of the same story. Could see a stray shower. Here we are at 8 o'clock. Notice here more from Myrtle Beach to Charleston. We could see a quick passing shower as we get into your afternoon hours, but we're not looking at a lot of rain. Again, just that stray shower possible throughout your Sunday. Notice the rain chances, though, quickly increase here by your Monday. This is Monday at 5 o'clock, showing widespread rain across the area. That looks to continue here as we go into Tuesday, off and on. May not be a straight rain all day, but as you can see, this particular model does show a good chance for a soaking rain as we continue here through midweek next week. And for some of us, yes, we need the rain. We've been dry. A quick update from the tropics. We have Hurricane Sam and Tropical Storm Victor. Both of those systems look to stay off in the Atlantic, not being an impact for the U.S. Your 7-day forecast here, we're looking at a lot more 80s as we continue into the weekend, and then we'll cool back more into next week with those rain chances returning. We'll see temperatures more into the 70s as we continue through the mid to later part of next week.
All right, Jason, thanks for that update as we head into the weekend. It's important factors to keep in mind. It's a good idea to go ahead and download your local news app, your weather app there, because that way you can, of course, track any rain that's coming your way, and we will be monitoring it for you. But I'm glad that you joined us here, 1 o'clock on this Friday. This is a big day. We launched Carolina News Now. This is a newscast. It's streaming everywhere, and you're probably watching maybe at home, or maybe you're watching on the go on your news app. You can watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or all of your local station streaming apps. Maybe you're watching from Myrtle Beach. Maybe you're watching from Charleston. We're glad you're here with us today. We are bringing you all of the big stories that happen in your communities. It's 6 great television stations that are working together for Carolina News Now to bring you the biggest stories of your community. And we're going to be right back here next Friday, 1 o'clock. You can watch us. All you have to do is just go to your local news app, or you can watch streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. We hope you had a great time here with us at Carolina News Now. I'm Chandler Morgan. We will see you right back here next Friday.